What progress we are making. In the Middle Ages they would have burned me. Now they are content with burning my books. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. There's a story behind every person. There's a reason why they're the way they are. They aren't just like that because they want to. Something in the past created them, and sometimes it's impossible to fix them. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. The liberty of the individual is no gift of civilization. It was greatest before there was any civilization. Removing someone from your life, especially if they are causing harm or negativity, isn't about animosity. It's about recognizing your worth and setting boundaries to protect your peace. Self-respect sometimes requires tough choices, but they're necessary for your own growth and well-being. Dogs love their friends and bite their enemies, quite unlike people who are incapable of pure love and always have to mix love and hate. Sigmund Freud is one of the most influential figures in the history of Western thought. Considered the father of psychoanalysis, this Austrian physician revolutionized the way we understand the human mind, introducing revolutionary concepts such as the unconscious, the interpretation of dreams, and the complexity of the psyche. Before him, no one had investigated in such depth the origin of instincts and desires, nor had he analyzed the causes of hysteria and neurosis. His theories opened new paths in the field of psychology, leaving a legacy that continues to influence the way we think and see ourselves. Discover Freud's profound insights on the human mind, dreams, and desires. The question of the purpose of human life has been raised countless times. It has never yet received a satisfactory answer, and perhaps does not admit of one. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. No, our science is no illusion, but an illusion it would be to suppose that what science cannot give us, we can get elsewhere. People live the present with a certain naivety, without considering exactly its contents. From era to era, one discovers the entire truth. Man's omnipotence no longer finds a place in the scientific worldview, since he admits his own smallness, is resigned to death, and is subjected to all the necessities of nature. Many of the wounds of the spirit that are constantly reopened during the day are healed by sleep, which covers them and protects them from new offenses. The therapeutic action of time is based in part on this. We are threatened with suffering from three directions: from our body, which is doomed to decay, from the external world, which may rage against us with overwhelming and merciless force of destruction, and finally from our relations with other men. This last source is perhaps more painful to use than any other. He that has eyes to see and ears to hear may convince himself that no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. Betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. If we cannot see things clearly, we will at least see clearly what the obscurities are. The crowd is a docile flock incapable of living without a master. It is so eager to obey that it instinctively submits to the one who puts himself at its head. People usually use false role models to inspire them. They seek and admire power, success, and wealth, but underestimate the true values of life. The moment a man questions the meaning and value of life, he is sick. It is really too sad that it may happen in life as in chess, where a false move can force us to lose the game, but with this difference, that we cannot begin a return match. Tradition is the excuse for lazy minds that refuse to adapt to change. It may be said that those who are happy never fantasize, only the dissatisfied. There are two ways to be happy in this life. One is to become an idiot, and the other is to be one. Words have a magical power. They can bring the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. Men live in the present with a certain naivety, without ever being able to carefully consider its content. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Freud explains that our beliefs, stereotypes, and conditioning sometimes prevent us from thinking clearly. Therefore, we often give the wrong meaning to the words and actions of the people around us. This is the result of our insecurities and fears. Therefore, sometimes it is not necessary to look for a hidden meaning. When in doubt, just ask. Life is often very simple. We are the ones who complicate it. Dreams continuously remind us of things we have ceased to think about, and which have long since lost importance to us. Dreams very often express memories and knowledge that the waking subject is unaware of possessing. Dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. The dream is a fully valid psychic phenomenon and precisely the fulfillment of a wish. Freud believed that dreams provide the most direct path to understanding the unconscious mind. Through dream analysis, one can uncover repressed desires, internal conflicts, and hidden fears that do not surface in everyday life. According to Freud, dreams do not express thoughts and desires directly. Instead, they use symbols and metaphors to represent unconscious content. By interpreting these symbols, we can gain insight into deeply rooted needs, traumas, or anxieties. Maybe there is something worse than vanished dreams, losing the desire to dream again. Love is pure, but it's also crazy. The madness of love is one of the greatest blessings from heaven. We choose not randomly each other. We meet only those who already exists in our subconscious. A love that does not discriminate seems to me to forfeit a part of its own value by doing an injustice to its object. And secondly, not all men are worthy of love. Being loved is a positive factor that justifies giving up other advantages. A woman should soften but not weaken a man. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. The great question that has never been answered, and that I have not been able to answer despite my 30 years of research on the female soul, is, what does a woman want? Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. However, most of us don't abide by this principle, and we often find ourselves struggling with pessimism, negative mindset, lack of ambition, feeling submerged in a life of negativity, and much more. Leben und arbeiten, to love and work. This is my recipe against the dark evils of man. The act of birth is the first experience of anxiety, and thus the source and prototype of the affect of anxiety. Neurotics complain of their illness, but they make the most of it, and when it comes to taking it away from them, they will defend it like a lioness her young. We all have desires that we would rather not reveal to other people, and desires that we don't even admit to ourselves. We are what we are because we have been what we have been. Our past conditions us, much more than we think. In fact, if we want to understand how and why we have arrived at a certain point in our lives, we should look back, analyze our experiences and past decisions. Thanks for watching. Which of Freud's ideas intrigued you the most? Leave a comment, like, and subscribe for more videos on the greatest minds in history.